when the Pleistocene glaciers began to cover the northern hemisphere. The megalodon, a prehistoric shark with a body length of over 20 meters and a bite force of up to 18 tons, suddenly disappeared 2.6 million years ago. Paleontologists once asserted that the decline in sea level and the collapse of the food chain led to their complete extinction. However, near the Great Barrier Reef in Australia, there lies a clue that defies perception. In 1967, a deep-sea detector from the University of Queensland captured a 37-second ultra-low frequency sound wave in the northern canyon of the Great Barrier Reef, whose frequency was highly consistent with the simulated sound frequency of the inner ear structure of the megalodon fossil. In the late autumn of 1964, a 100-ton trawler, the Sea Eagle, was anchored on the west side of the Great Barrier Reef for engine maintenance. First mate Caius Navarro recorded in the journal, "The sky suddenly darkened and the compass pointer deflected frantically. When I climbed up the mast, I saw a dark gray shadow 30 meters away from the ship's side moving slowly at a speed of 3 knots. The dorsal fin that emerged above the water was as big as a car, and the folds on the fin, interacted with the seawater, reflected a faint light." Even more strangely, the crew found that some of the barnacles attached to the bottom of the ship had been scraped off, and there were still shallow parallel grooves on the exposed metal baseplate. Navarro did not disclose the details in the magazine Deep Sea Exploration until 1987. "We saw a huge fin. That fin was definitely not possessed by any existing marine life. The captain said we were seeing things and mistaking the coral reef for a monster, threatening to send us to a mental hospital and saying we were crazy. But of course, I clearly remember that the fin could swim and had quite a few ripples. No huge coral reef could move." This long-forgotten testimony is now regarded by researchers of marine mysteries as a golden case of modern megalodon sightings. During a scientific expedition in the waters of Tasmania, the team of marine biologist Rowan Feynman recovered a damaged deep-sea trawl net. In the net, apart from the teeth of great white sharks and mako sharks, there are also 7 giant teeth with triangular edges and serrations. The largest tooth is 17 centimeters long, which is 3 times larger than the existing teeth of great white sharks. After being tested with professional radioactive instruments, researchers found that the enamel on the surface of these teeth actually contained the modern carbon-14 element. "It can't be a fossil," Feynman admitted when presenting the specimen at a news conference. "We discovered an unknown microbial community in the tooth grooves that can break down hydroxyapatite in shark teeth under extreme pressure." What is even more controversial is that the sonar of the research vessel once detected an elliptical outline of a creature about 18 meters long, 200 meters below the sea area where the teeth were found. Its swimming trajectory exactly coincides with the suspected migration path of the megalodon, recorded by NOAA in 1995. 100 years ago, the Australian newspaper the Sydney Morning Herald implicitly reported, "In July 1918, fishermen in Port Stephen encountered a huge object in the sea while fishing for tuna." The grandson of the old fisherman Samuel Johnson recreated the scene in his memoirs. "Grandfather said the thing was as long as 2 train carriages and its skin was like leather soaked in oil. When it struck the hull with its tail fin, the entire 50-ton fishing boat was lifted 1 meter high. They were extremely frightened. In an emergency, they threw 2 explosives at the creature. After the explosion, the seawater turned blood red, but the creature just swung its tail fin and disappeared into the dark blue sea." The only physical evidence of this incident is a row of tooth marks found by fishermen on the deck of the boat. The deepest tooth mark is 3 centimeters long, with a perfectly serrated edge. Archaeologists from the University of Sydney concluded after computer simulation, this kind of bite force can only be achieved by megalodon or larger unknown creatures. What is even more terrifying is that 3 months after the incident, 3 fishing boats went missing in the same sea area. The search and rescue team only found floating fragments of the fishing boats, on which there were still some bite marks, similar to teeth. The Diamantina Trench and the Mariana Trench are among the most mysterious trenches in the world. The pressure at the deepest part here is equivalent to 1,000 elephants stepping on your fingernail. The creatures hidden here are rewriting human understanding of the ocean. In 2012, when James Cameron was piloting the Deep Sea Challenger, the extravehicular sound receiver recorded a periodic low roar. The frequency of this sound was only 18 Hz, which was inaudible to the human ear. After analysis and comparison, it was found that this sound had the same vibration amplitude as the sound wave captured in 1997. Even more strangely, when the submarine was submerged to a depth of 200 meters, the compass inside the cabin suddenly malfunctioned and began to rotate uncontrollably. For safety reasons, the pilot chose to return to the surface. The exploration of this unknown trench has also come to an end. Marine archaeologist Gray presented a new perspective at an academic symposium. The dramatic climate change during the Pleistocene 2.6 million years ago led to a sudden drop in sea level. Traditional theory holds that this triggered the extinction of the megalodon due to the collapse of the food chain, but he pointed out that deep-sea trenches might become their refuge. In 2023, a scientific research team detected special enzymes that can break down blubber under high temperature and high pressure at the 8,000-meter hot seep in the Timantina Trench. The activity intensity of this enzyme far exceeds that of known deep-sea microorganisms, suggesting that there are large predators in this area that rely on cetacean resources, and their metabolic characteristics are highly consistent with the ecological niche of the megalodon. In 2024, when the scientific research vessel Explorer was on a mission in the Pacific Ocean, its sonar system detected abnormal signals multiple times. When the underwater robot approached the signal source, several blurry photos were sent back by the camera. In the photo, a huge grayish-black outline is faintly visible. The shield-like structure covering its body surface bears similarities to the skin texture of the megalodon restored by paleontologists. However, due to the influence of deep-sea undercurrents, the robot failed to obtain more images, and it was found that the data storage module was abnormally damaged after recovery. The deep-sea environment is far more complex than we imagine. Marine biologist Irene wrote in the journal Marine Science that when Cameron dived into the Mariana Trench in 2012, the extra-V-Carbon equipment recorded regular sound waves whose frequencies partially overlapped with the infrasound waves that the megalodon might have emitted. These seemingly isolated discoveries might be piecing together an astonishing truth. Recently released exploration data from the Mariana Trench show that in the ultra-deep zone at a depth of 11,000 meters, there are still unconfirmed signs of biological activity. In 2025, the International Alliance for Deep-Sea Research plans to relaunch the Deep-Sea Exploration Project. It will use the latest sonar arrays and deep-sea robots to conduct a systematic investigation of key areas in the trench, attempting to solve the century-old mystery of whether the megalodon survived.